All right, let's do this thing. What is up, everybody? Sorry I'm late. Please remind me, like, if you're in the Patreon and I ever say that I'm going to do a late stream and I have a rehearsal that ends at 9:30, don't ever let me say that the stream is going to start at 10 p.m. It's always going to start at 10:15. It's 10:14 now. This is just the most realistic time this could possibly start. Ran in the door. I don't know, what was it? Maybe 9:43. Got to eat, got to change. Today, unfortunately, I had to set up the second camera. It was set to record mode, not to stream mode. And since we're doing a blind flight tonight, I've got to have that secondary angle, focused and everything. So, don't let me do that again. Please. We've got a fun stream tonight, actually. I know it's kind of, it's late. That's okay. We're going to do a giveaway. I did not stream last week. And, I missed it. So, Matt Porter texted me. He's like, hey, are you going to be live tomorrow night? It's like, yeah, man. He said he missed me, so I miss you too, Matt. Little bromance. All right. Let me say hello to everybody in the chat. Travis, what's up, dude? Tim Tam Slam in here. And actually, speaking of the chat, what I need to do here, I need to unpin that message in the chat. So I got to do that from my phone here. Okay, there we go. Good. So, Tim Tam Slam, New Kentucky Owl, I would imagine that's pronounced Maester, hit here this week. Didn't convince me to buy. We're going to talk about some Kentucky Owl tonight. Guys, I have something funny to show you. I'll show you in a second, I promise. But look at this. Look at what they sent. Look at this box. We'll talk about it. It tickled me. It tickled me pink earlier. Let's say that. Crazy in Bourbon Town with some fun emojis in here. Travis says, don't trip over all those triangles. We were actually playing rectangles tonight. Travis, did you know that, you guys all know what a triangle is. Do you know that biangle is an instrument too? That's just hitting a piece of metal, but they call it a biangle. Gary Franchi, what's up, man? Dave picked up a 9. Okay, Dave, I'm gonna check out 923 again tonight very quickly. My bottle's got some air in it now, and I haven't had a sip of this in probably about 10 days. So I'm curious to revisit it. I've been formulating my thoughts. I have not released a review for it yet because I can't pin down what I think of this batch. So I want to get into that a little bit tonight too. Delaying the ECBP. Oh, geez. Some of these state-controlled agencies are killing us. Guys, please hit that like button on your way in. Let's get some more folks in here. If you're hanging out live, thank you for being here. If you're checking out the replay in the future, thank you for checking out the replay. And, yeah, hit that like button anyways. Okay. Got Toshi in here. What is up, Toshi? And I knew that Toshi would have something to say. There we go. I wonder if Cam zipped. Or Jay. I knew Jay would have something to say. I wonder if Cam zipped the beans above the frames. How hard is it to put away a tambourine? Cam already had to take 3 pee breaks. Probably 4. God bless America, guys. Okay, so we are going to do... I'll leave this on the screen for a second. Oh, we got Amy in here. That's awesome. So, we do have a giveaway tonight. And I just need to zoom in so I can see this. Okay. So, we got Jay is going to be our first entry for tonight. Thank you, Jay. Let's get this thing started. Whiskey cheers. Cheers to you guys. First pour of the night. You're probably already deep at this point, right? It's 10:20. But if it is your first pour of the night or whatever you're drinking, let me know what you're sipping on in the chat, what you've come across recently. I haven't been able to really get out of state at all, but I am going to be in Buffalo in 2 weeks, and I'm looking forward to, heading up to Buffalo, seeing if I can find anything up there, or even just on the way, because I think some of those small towns in upstate New York, you can find some stuff up there. What was I thinking? Oh, first pour for me tonight is actually the remainder of, if you guys watched the last episode of Whiskey Ware, the one that we shot at Dairy Queen, I don't know where the next one's going to be. I have a couple ideas. This is the remainder of that Henry McKenna 2017 that Sarah poured me. I've just left it sitting out. I thought I'd start tonight's stream and say cheers with that, guys. Dave, I'm so curious, man. about some of this 2XO coming out. I only tried the Phoenix, didn't like it, especially at the price point. I heard the Innkeeper is remarkably better, and now all I'm hearing is that Tribute's amazing. So it's a hard sell for me. I'm hesitant to pull the trigger at $100, which is what I think. I think they're all 100 at this point. Very hesitant to pull the trigger. So I appreciate you saying that, and I'm gonna look out for some more opinions too. If it's a consensus, then maybe I'm gonna have to buy one of these things. Scott's doing. I haven't had 22 or 23A yet, Scott. So let me know what you think of that one, especially if you have some other batches to like compare it to. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to be doing tonight. You saw some of it in the thumbnail. I literally threw that thumbnail together. I had a 20-minute break at work. We do a 2.5-hour rehearsal. You get 20-minute break. Always, it's the union thing. So I had my laptop out on the xylophone making that thumbnail. I just had a very quick second, so I wasn't able to go and find the picture of the Takumi and the other stuff to put it. I just put the K-Luke, and I said, let's just put some text. On tonight's stream, this is what we're going to do. I have K-Luke Batch 6. The most recent review that I put out on the channel, pre-recorded review, was of Batch 5. I thought it was incredible stuff. I have just a little bit left. And instead of doing that comparison, let's just see how it goes. I don't have enough left to do a comparison tonight of Batch 5 and also on a pre-recorded video, and I want to make a video for Batch 6. People have been asking about it, which is cool that people are asking me to make videos of certain bottles. That's cool. I will see if I do the comparison tonight, but definitely going to get into Batch 6. I have a fun little blending exercise that I want to try out. We'll see if it goes anywhere because of some of the components that I believe to be in Batch 6. I'm going to see if I can recreate some stuff here as we talk about that. One other thing, I put a video out for my patrons a couple of days ago when this arrived. This is a Pursuit Series single barrel pick of a rye whiskey from Bardstown Bourbon Company. It is a 5-year rye, and the cask strength is 89.4 proof. Super low cask strength. Reminds me of some of those like old MGP things that were hitting the market. The Gatsby Reserve being super low, the Lauralee being super low. This is not super high aged, and it's not MGP, but it's interesting that it's low cask strength. There's a reason I want to talk about this tonight. So we will get into that. I have an extra one of those too on the way, and I might do a giveaway for that, but it might just be for patrons because I really think it's a great bottle. Now here's, I said we're gonna do the Elijah Craig. I'll take another look at this. I have a blind flight. This is already sounding like a lot of shit to do. So this arrived. Oh gosh, there's no padding in this box, so it just kind of, the bottle's just kind of floating around. Let me see if I can do the close-up camera on this. Okay. I think it should focus here. But here's where this gets funny, okay? They put a little card in here, and the card, you can't really see that, can you? Let's see if I can solo. There we go. You can see my name. I mean, look at this. Engraved with the name and everything on the, not engraved, printed. We'll talk about the engraving. So this is cool. Very personalized. Very, marketing. I mean, they're pushing it here on the PR stuff. But you got to appreciate the effort, especially if the product's good, and we'll see what it's like. Here's where they fell short. Let's put the lid over here. Here's where they fell short. On the side of the box, at the bottom, there's a name. Oh. No audio. Still no audio? Check, check. How long have I been without audio? Oh, Casey says, I hear you. Is it when I go to the close camera? Is it when we go here? Check, check. Oh, damn. No audio on the close cam. Hang on, let me see why that might be. I can probably fix this for just a second. Stop extra camera. Let's bring it up here. Camera has... Oh, I see why. Sorry, that's a user error. I didn't realize that's how this worked. Let's do one more check of this, okay? Add to stage, solo. Can you hear me now? Check, check. Okay. Sorry about that. That's unfortunate. So I don't know what you didn't hear, so I'll just go back through this spiel and I'll make it a little quicker. Sorry about that. So Kentucky Owl sends this. The emails of them talking to me about this. I see some Venmo came through. This took forever to get to me. I mean, like, the conversation started in May 24th, okay? So 4 months it took to get this here. This bottle that's been out for like a while. So this finally arrives today, and I hear clunk, clunk, clunk. I open it up. It's a wooden box, whatever. Beautiful presentation, as you can see. We got the paper around the bottle. Very cool. They send this little card. Name is printed on the little card. Very personalized. I just discovered a second ago that, okay, they've got a master blender signature on here. Very cool. I love it all. Super PR marketing heavy, but we got to make sure the whiskey is up to snuff. Even if it's not, they're taking the right steps, you know, to try to sway somebody in a certain direction, I suppose, or put their best foot forward. But where this gets funny is that on the side of the box, I didn't notice this when it first arrived. They've engraved a name, but mine is not my name. Okay, so look, see if it focuses. Eric and Shanna Jones. I got the box of Eric and Shanna Jones. And I was thinking to myself, like, who is that? Like, there's no way that's the master blender, right? Like, two people, and I look it up, and it's called Dude That Cooks. It's an Instagram page and a website called Dude That Cooks. Another, like, influencer type who received this. Sorry, I got a message. I got distracted. So they must have got one of these too, and I don't know whose name is on their box. Maybe it's mine. So the marketing department screwed up on this one. I wonder what Eric and Shanna got. Says Ken Dad 23. I have no idea. But I was so stoked about this box. It's just such a nice friggin' box. And unfortunately, you know, there's a little... I mean, it's kind of a funny joke, I guess. But it's definitely not my name on the box. So we'll get into this in a second. But you can tell, I mean, these boxes are clearly made for the Takumi edition for people that... Because I don't think in stores, I don't think they have this box in stores. So this was clearly something made for the occasion of sending this bottle to people. And to take all those steps to personalize, to sign the bottle, took 4 months, and then you send the wrong box. I just get a little kick out of it, you know? Oh, Jay. Oh, God. There says Little Drummer Boy. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I know, long rant, and I had to do it twice because my audio kicked off. I apologize. We got 70 in here. Let's get a few more folks. By hitting that like button, guys. Please hit that like button, and let's get into it. Jeb, that would probably be funnier. All right. Yeah, Amy, I was thinking about, like, all the layers this probably had to go through. I don't know how big of a company, you know, Stoli obviously owns Kentucky Owl. I don't know what that funnel of people looks like from the start of this process 4 months ago in email versus to today. I'm sure it crossed a lot of people's paths. So I thought that was quite amusing. First thing we're going to get into, let's start low proof. Amy, by the way, Amy, will you pick one of the 2 flights you sent me? I mean, I can pick, but if there's one that you would want me to do tonight, please let me know. The first one has 4 pours, the second one has 5. They're both themed. So let me know what you think, Amy. Which one would you want me to do? Calibration or Get Off My Lawn? I love the names. Well, you know what? Honestly, I wish the inside of this box was lined with something, because it was just like gunk, 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 gunk. When I picked the box up off my porch, you could just hear the bottle like shaking around in there. I'm like, good God. I thought someone sent me a bottle that had broke, and I was just hearing the remnants of whatever was in there. So, again, kudos to that. It's a badass presentation. You got to say that. Okay, Amy says do calibration. Cool. All right, let's have a quick pour, guys. We don't need to go too deep on this, but we don't need to go too deep. We'll go a little deep, just a little deep, because I think this will be interesting, and I haven't done this yet. So I mentioned that this is a pick of Bardstown Bourbon Company, which to me is probably the most exciting distillery in terms of their own whiskey, like a new up-and-coming distillery that is distilling their own stuff. Bardstown Bourbon Company is the most exciting for me based on the Origin series, particularly the white label based on this green label rye is awesome. The barrel picks that are coming out now, some at 110, some higher proof than that with the white label. Haven't had Disco 10 yet. I think that has renewed my faith in large part with Bardstown Bourbon Company. The thing that kills me about Bardstown Bourbon Company, which you guys heard me rant about 2 weeks ago, was the Goose Island beer finished $160, 6 to 7 year with a little 9 year thrown in at the end. That's absurd. So I think on one hand, while Bardstown Bourbon Company jumps the shark with their collaborative series, which I think is probably not going to return to its former glory pretty much ever. It's going to take many years if it does. And the prices are going to have to get adjusted down if they're going to keep this up with the crappy age statements. I think that's going to go down the tubes, but I think their own whiskey is going to continue to go up. And who knows, maybe that's a strategy play on their end, to increase value of their own stuff. I can't imagine that's the case, but who knows? That's why this is interesting to me. So what I've got is a barrel pick 89.4 proof 5-year Bardstown Rye, unfinished, straight up out of the barrel. I want this as a point of reference. This is finished with toasted cherry wood. Okay. And then we have a certain Matt Porter's pick here, which for all intents and purposes is coming from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Yeah. So this is a higher proof version of this, essentially. So let's get into this. And the reason I want to get into this is because the marketing, or rather the text thread that went out, the text marketing, what are you going to, text marketing, I guess, that Sealbox sent out to their text list called this a dusty whiskey. 5-year rye, Kentucky rye. They said it tasted like a dusty. And I thought that sounds like a load of crap. So let's buy a bottle and see if they're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. And they're not. It actually smells like a dusty. And I don't know if these are still in stock. I put the link a few days ago onto my Patreon for everybody there. And at the time, there were still some of these bottles available. And let me click the link right now and see if this is still up there. Guys, this bottle's still available. So let me talk about it now. Many of you know, I have a lot of issues with Sealbox and their shipping and stuff that's happened in the past. This was a test for me, not only of their shipping speed to come back into the fold with them, it was also a test of like, is their marketing copy that they're putting in these texts that are getting blasted out, is it a bunch of crap or not? This one is not. This is legit. So let's start there. I'm not trying to sell anything for Sealbox, but this whiskey is still available. And I will put it in the chat, this link. All right. So let's talk about it. Hey, what's up? YPC is in the house. Get you in here. I think that's only the second super chat. I do have some others in the Venmo, and I will get to that in a second, but I want to get to some freaking whiskey already. Okay, so let's check this out on the nose. First and foremost, it smells like it's an 89.4 proof whiskey. It's a rye, remember. It smells like a dusty Stitzel Weller at 86 proof. So if you guys have ever had any old school Stitzel Weller, it's super light and super sweet. And when you proof it down to 86, there's this fluffiness to it. Fluffy, cakey vanillas. Just incredibly sweet. Like powdered sugar, you know. I think funnel cake a little bit, but funnel cake might even be a little dense for what it is. You know, it's super light and sweet. This is exactly that on the nose. And I cannot believe this is a modern day whiskey. It's like 60 to 65% of a dusty whiskey's quality of dustiness, if that makes sense. Yes, there is a little modern edge to it. I think a lot of that comes from the fact that it's a rye and not a bourbon. But it's that really bright, cakey, fluffy sweetness. Vanilla. There's also some lemon in here. Just, I would call it maybe like a tinge of a lemongrass kind of note. Almost like Asian pear in here. Just smells awesome. And I know it's 89.4. So for many people, that's not going to be up their alley. But I think this is really good stuff. So if you're looking for something interesting and low proof doesn't bother you, check the link out in the chat if you want to check. This is $80. It's not cheap. Is it worth 80? I don't know. Let's taste it. So as you would expect, the palate leaves something to be desired in terms of mouthfeel. And it does that thing that I talk about sometimes where you have a lot of spice but a thin mouthfeel. When that happens with a whiskey that has been proofed down, that's when I get upset, right? It's like, you proof this down. You chose the proof point, but the mouthfeel sucks at this proof point. And then the spice, you know, I think what the thinking is, oh, well, it's spicy, so it'll make up for this thinner mouthfeel. Well, this is cast strength. So it is what it is. I don't know if this is just a one-off barrel that, you know, tastes really dusty. And the cool part is that you can still like get this. It's not one of those things that flew off the shelves or whatever. I don't know if it's just a one-off barrel or not, but the fact that it's cast strength means they could have done nothing else to change the mouthfeel on this particular whiskey. I think Mark Emenecker is behind on the stream, so he's talking about the mic. Wow, this actually has a little bit of, you know, Amburana. I hate Amburana. I think it's too much of a finish, too strong. There's just a smidge of this cinnamon toast note in here. I haven't picked that up until right now, even after tasting this a few different times. Super in the background, but really nice. Nothing like it would be if it was actually Amburana finished. Wow, I love it. Fantastic stuff. Now I want to do a quick dive on these other two from Bardstown and just see what the similarities or differences are based on proof, based on the finishing, obviously, of the Origin series, etc., etc. Noah, dude, sorry I did not let you know. Yes, that sample did arrive. I've had one sip of it so far, and I should taste that tonight. The goal is to make a video for that, but I'll have to find. It is around here. It's been kind of a crazy last couple of days, so I've lost. This room was like beautifully organized and pristine, and then in the last 36 hours, it exploded. By the way, tonight's giveaway, 2 winners. I didn't say that before. I've got a brand new bottle of K-Luke Batch 6 that we're giving away tonight. I'm kind of sad to give that away, but I'm like, if you love it, share it. So we're going to give away a K-Luke Batch 6, and the second place is going to get a sample of some of the stuff that I taste tonight. Takumi, K-Luke, this single barrel, this rye I'm tasting. I'll throw other stuff in, too. I don't want to just send you 3 samples. I'll send you a full sample pack outfitted with some other really, really cool stuff. Maybe I'll throw Hardin's Creek Boston in there, which is one of my whiskeys of the year at this point. But K-Luke and the stuff I taste tonight will be in there, too. C923, I'll probably throw that in there, too. What is up, David? Hey, man, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Is Clay drunk? Toshi, I know you said you're not selling, but you sold me. I bought one and a Disco. Oh, do they have Disco 10, Toshi? Oh, man, well, a buddy of mine's got one. I actually want to taste it first. Although I have every other Disco. I have the whole line. I should just buy a 10. At this point, I should just buy a 10. All right. So let's go over to the higher proof cast strength version of this. It's a 6-year, 6-month rye that Matt picked, presumably from Bardstown Bourbon Company. You wouldn't even know these are related. So that's interesting that there can be so much variance in some of these barrels. Both, I believe, 95.5. Yeah. Ginger on the finish of the low proof one. Matt's on the nose, a lot more herbal. A big dried fruit note, though. Dried orange, dried cherry, big herbal, dill, and that gasoline note. I keep getting this gasoline note from some of these Bardstown whiskeys. It was, for me, before, just the Black Label Bottled and Bond Weeder from the Origin series. But actually, Matt's pick, as I come back to it, a little gasoline. It's an interesting rye. Oh, Matt, yeah, that would be awesome. That would be very awesome to save a few bucks. Mike D says, "Cheers, Cam. Love to try the K-Luke. Can't get it by me." Thanks, man. Is this... I gotta ask this, because I don't know. It could be or it could not be. Is that Mike Davis, or is that a different Mike D? Trying to look at the profile pic. Okay, now let's check out this, finally. The Origin with the finishing on it. Yeah, those smell related to me. So the Origin series is actually pretty darn close to this single barrel low proofer. But not as, like, the finishing has added some stuff to it. It's not as, like, pure tasting, you know what I mean? Yeah. Toshi, I mean, you said you snagged one of these bottles. Give it a try, man. Let me know what you think. It's like a session whiskey, but it has that Old Fitz thing to it. Toshi, that was your Old Fitz that you sent me, right? The 1971, the 86 proof. I still got some of that sample left. All right. Well, look, I think there is some variance between the higher proof pick from Matt and this low proof. Either way, though, I am excited quite a bit about Bardstown Rye, and I'm very excited about that high rye bourbon mash bill. Well, for what it's worth. Okay. Let's get these out of here. I'm telling you, Matt, if you still have any of that rare character rye you picked, tell me if you get gasoline, dude. I don't know why I'm getting this note, and it's curious because I'm really only getting it on these Bardstown products. Travis says Boston is ridiculously good whiskey. That Michter's 10, Russell's 13. These are some of the big releases for me this year. And of course, like, I know they're hard to get. I know they're expensive, a lot of them. I know, but different Mike, says Mike T. Okay, sorry, I had to ask, man, because if it was Mike Davis, an old buddy of mine, I would have been like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, Mojo, totally agree. The white label origin is almost identical to younger MGP. Yeah, Toshi, and I mean, right now, man, I'm saying that without tasting it. So let me just take a little sippy sip off the top of this. So, okay. The resemblance is there. Let's put it that way. Don't do the side-by-side first. Just taste this low proofer by itself first. And see what I mean. White, cakey, fluffy, light. I think it's a nice whiskey, though. And I have nothing to gain by saying that. Yeah, Jacob, all the Michter's 10 is going away. People are paying $4.50 right now in secondary. So the half bottle of that I have left is pretty much all of it I'm ever going to get, I think, from 2023. Oh, Mojo's got a Twix Toddies. That's awesome. That's awesome. I had one of those, one of the earlier ones, and it was very good. And then C923. I'll have that with you. Sorry, guys. I'm just checking. Just checking the chat here. I'm going to just miss some things, I know. Sorry about that. Yeah, Clay. I do have a concert tomorrow, Clay. I got to take it a little easy. Oh, Matt. All right. Well, I wouldn't blame her. Travis says, I had an opportunity to get my first private barrel pick for Bardstown. 6-year at 127. Couldn't do a hundo for it. Not a great value. You're right that it's not a great value. And do I think one of those picks is going to wow you over another bottle that's $100 like an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof? Probably not. It's probably like, okay, if you're going to put, let's say you put $500 into whiskey this month, then maybe that purchase makes more sense. But if you're going to put only 120 in this month, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Just from a value perspective, I think you're totally right. Guys, I did an experiment the other night with Michter's 10, the 2023. I took a pour of King of Kentucky, and I kept proofing it down and proofing it down. It is like identical. When you proof down King of Kentucky, everyone's been saying, oh, it's proof down King of Kentucky because it's Brown-Forman sourced. Presumably, yes. I'm telling you, I went down, sitting on the couch with the King of Kentucky. I just sat with it for like 30 minutes, little by little. It is identical to Michter's 10 2023. It's not even funny. So, you know, you really are paying for a low-proof King of Kentucky. Clay. Oh, going to be Bardstown. Suggestions on bottles. I should... I don't really know what they've got down there anymore, man. You know? I haven't been down there in a while. So, I just don't know. Other people in the chat will probably be able to help you more. Jacob helped a local bottle this. I was going to grab the others. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on with it. I'm going to keep this Henry McKenna. Let's do a little main of. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do the Kentucky Owl. I want to check this out. So with all the mishaps, with the 4 months of emailing, but with the beautiful presentation, but with the misengraved box. Let's just get into this thing now. All right. There we go. Come on. Wow, it's like I've never done this before. real cork. Okay. Okay. Interesting. What was the name? Eric and Shanna. Eric and Shanna Jones. I can't wait to email them and say, I got your bottle. Okay, so color on this doesn't look very dark. I can give you guys the specifics. Yeah, really not dark at all. Interesting. Proof on this Takumi edition, which is coming in about $150 SRP. Some people are discounting this, some retailers, because they're not moving, so they're being dropped to about $125, I've seen. I'll have to get it up on the screen or look at it online. I have a breakdown of what's in this blend in terms of ages, but nothing about the nothing about the percentages, just the age. So let that sit out for just a second. Okay, let's do real quick a few Venmo super chats. Amy, have I missed anything in the live chat? I think there's just been 4 super chats, 4 $5 super chats in here. YPC, boom, boom, boom. Okay, and JG. Yeah, so we're good. All good here. Scott says he sees it for $119 a lot, so that sounds about right. It's being discounted because there's a pretty decent supply. So 25,000 bottle release for this Kentucky Owl, which is about double. The former release would have been, or the previous release would have been the St. Patty's, I think, which was about 12,000 bottles. So they doubled that release size for this. So it's a fairly large, you know, you can call it limited, but that's not that limited. When you're sending, what would that be? 500 bottles per state, I suppose. Okay. Let's head over to, first, I got a PayPal super chat, I believe. What does that smell like? What does that? Got $5 super chat in the old PayPals. I think from Kilco, right? Where's? It's like how do you use PayPal? You know? Yeah. Okay. Brian jumping in there with it, one super chat. Thank you, man. I got you in there. Okay. Tis I. David L. We got David L. $10 super chat. Oh my God, you guys are suddenly pouring it on. I appreciate it. So yeah, tonight we're playing for a K-Luke batch 6, and then the second person after the randomizer is going to be getting a sample pack, including some of these pours tonight. A good day. My K-Luke batch 6 came in, says David. We're playing for another one, man. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Bill Scott says, put me in for 5. You got it. In for 5. And not equals 5. We don't need a formula in there. Thank you, Bill. And John Cloud in for 4. Thank you all so much. Odds are looking pretty good on that K-Luke, says John Cloud. Well, John, we got some people jumping in on Venmo. We got quite a few, actually, at this point. Tom Snyder, K-Luke batch 6 versus C923. Who wins? That's actually the comparison we can do tonight. And an interesting one at that. Different styles, but a fair comparison. Alan Mack, I got you as well, man. All right. 76 people in here. Please hit that like button if you're hanging out or watching the replay. Yeah, and Jacob, it's a really good thing to put in perspective. That St. Patrick's edition of Kentucky Owl sat everywhere. So yeah, 12,000 bottles is actually quite a few bottles. And when you think about that, and then you think about some of the 12 to 15,000 bottle releases from major distilleries like Four Roses, Limited, stuff like that, and you think about how you never see those, it also puts it into perspective how many of those actually get purchased and flipped, or, sweetheart deals behind the scenes. Yeah. Good point, man. All right. Let's get to the Venmos. I think there are quite a number of these that kind of came in all at once. Yes. Okay. Amy. Amy jumping in for 4. Thank you, Amy. Amy with a $20 direct direct super chat from Venmo. We got Keith Thompson in as well. Keith is going to be in for 2. Sorry, guys. I'll get through this very quickly, but I want to give these awesome people their moment, since I can't put them up on the screen because they are being very nice and sending it direct as opposed to going through YouTube. Toshi in for 10 super chat entries. He says first round. Thank you, Toshi. Travis in for 10. I appreciate the support, Travis. He says K Luke, baby. Yeah, man. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. William Molnar. William, I got your email, and I can't wait for that sample pack, man. Sorry I didn't get back to you on that. In for 10 from William. Cheers, Eric and Shanna. Mike K. Lucas showing up tomorrow. Give my entries to the GOAT, Amy Bohm. So Amy has William's entries. And Brian Taylor is in for 1. And we got a few more people coming in. I'm going as quick as I can. Brian Taylor in for 1. Gotcha, Brian. Says, appreciate the wide variety in your streams. Packs a lot in a short period and helps work go faster. K. Luke 6. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody. Last 2. Jack Daniels 12 says Travis was not much over 12,000 bottles. Yeah, and I'm never going to find one of those. Just good. Oh, me. Clay in for 2. Thank you, Clay. If for some reason I happen to win, please give it to a first-time winner. Okay. And last but not least, Art Sanchez. Izzo's Place has too many streams tonight. Hello from Cleveland. Who else is going on right now? It's probably the likes, I would imagine, right? Yeah, Amy, if you can grab the super chats, that would be awesome. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't want to ask tonight, Amy. Yeah, and how many bottles never make it to the store, she says. Exactly. All righty. So, Kentucky Owl Takumi. Let's read from Breaking Bourbon what is in here. There's a list of ages at the very least. Okay, company states a blend of 4, 5, 6, very young, and 13-year-old bourbon. So we don't have a percentage. We can imagine there's probably a mere sprinkle of 13-year bourbon in here, but we have no idea. No mash bills disclosed. 100 proof. So release date September 2022. So it's about a year old. It's crazy that they're just now sending this out. Probably to try to get them off the shelves, you know. Oh, Drew, what's up, dude? Well, Minneapolis is a little drive. I've got to play the Planets this weekend. Oh, dude, I did not get the sample pack, William. Shit, dude. Maybe one of my neighbors got that. Dude. Oh, man, what day is it? Thursday? No, that sample pack never arrived, dude. Oh, that sucks. Sometimes I get things misdelivered. Was it FedEx or UPS? Oh, that sucks. I'll have to ask Sarah. I've been doing rehearsals and stuff, but I can't imagine. Said signed for by Jason. I don't know. UPS. Did you send it to the right address? We'll have to talk, man. All right. Kentucky Owl Takumi. I hope we can get this worked out. On the nose. You know what this smells like to me? This smells like a barrel blend. Not a Tennessee featuring blend. It's young. It's like young graham cracker, honey. Very crispy. It smells crispy. And Jay says Jason C took it. Yeah, did you send it to Jason C? We'll have to figure this out. Oh, Jay says the likes are not on. Yeah, so the first nosing of this Takumi to me is like, okay, we're talking about a young bourbon. We're talking about, there's nothing that's going to make this thing stand out. As I come back to it, there is like the redeeming note in here is this pie crust thing. It really just smells, like I said, graham cracker. I said it's kind of crispy. The redeeming thing is this pie crust note, but it's not, there's not a lot of deep and rich or anything like that. It's very surface level. I would never imagine that there's 13-year-old whiskey based on the nose. Like, there's one thing in the background. There's just a teeny bit of something, maybe like, if you guys have ever had IW Harper 15, there's a musty oak note in that. There's just a smidge of that in the background of this whiskey, but if I got this in a blind, I would call this a 5-year whiskey. And that's probably pretty much what it is. Yeah, I'll come back to the nose. So far, not a $150 whiskey. It's not. I actually had lower expectations for this than what I'm getting. And maybe that's just me, having heard things about the post-Dixon Deadman era of Kentucky Owl. I had pretty low expectations. This is a little bit higher than that, but I'm not going to say this is an impressive whiskey by any stretch of the imagination. So. Actually spicier than 100 proof would suggest. This is actually really spicy whiskey. Big cinnamon notes. Big, like, young Kentucky bourbon cinnamon notes. Almost in the vein of like somewhere like a Jim Beam almost, But it's not nutty. Come back to it on the nose. More fruit coming out. A little bit of a cherry note, and there's something a little lighter, like maybe some grilled peach, It's kind of this lighter fruit thing. Huh. I want to be fair. Like, it would be very easy to taste this whiskey, and I'm not saying this because they sent me this whiskey. I never expected to receive it. I didn't expect this fancy box that was misdelivered. The whole thing. It is a funny situation. People are going to say, oh, you didn't just completely crush that whiskey because you got it for free. Well, no. I'm saying it's like largely an unremarkable whiskey, but there are a few things in it that I think do stand out, considering the fact that it's 4, 5, and 6-year whiskey. There's something about it that's interesting. Part of it is like how proofy it feels on the palate, being only 100 proof. And it's getting sweeter and more fruity as I sip it. Oh, you know what? You know where this, I think, is from? I think there's a lot of Willet in here. I think this is, I don't know if they would have enough whiskey to be able to do that, to source out. Like, I don't know how much Willet is selling of their stuff. This tastes like Willet. That's what that cinnamon note is. There has to be. If I would stake a lot of things on the fact that there's Willet in here. I know this note because what I was about to say and what triggered me on this is that it's kind of grassy. As I come back to the nose, why am I getting that same freaking cinnamon toast crunch thing that I got on that rye randomly earlier? Not great. Well, that hit the floor. This is that Bardstown Rye from a second ago. Same cinnamon toasting. It literally tastes like a Dusty in comparison to this young whiskey. Yeah. Okay. So I got to call this note, and I don't know why. I don't know why I'm suddenly getting this on 2 whiskeys in a row. This has to be a coincidence tonight. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it's not Ambarana finished. This Takumi. That's going to go along with all the lighter fruit notes, grilled peach, cherry, very spicy cinnamon, like Willet cinnamon. grassy. It's not bad whiskey, actually. Like, for how young it is, I'm shocked at how put together it is. But it's not this. I mean, this is not anywhere close to a $150 bottle of whiskey. If something like this, I'm going to be generous. I'm going to be generous and say like 65 to 75. You know, if it were at that price point, I think I could actually tell somebody, hey, look, you've got Bardstown stuff coming out at that age, picks that are between 75 and 100. You could throw this in that mix, in that price range, 65, 75, and you could be competitive. At 150, this makes no sense. But I am impressed in some ways based on what's actually in the blend. Jay, I saw somebody say, yeah, best smile in the biz. Jay Wack is here. Jay says the box is cursed. God, this hat. Hang on. The only Willet I have in this room, I'm just a Matt Porter fanboy. Today and every day is his barrel pick. I just keep knocking things over. I've had like 3 sips of whiskey tonight, and I'm knocking things over like a drunk idiot. A 100%. 100% there's Willet in here. And it's the majority of what you taste in the whiskey. The things that they've used to kind of augment the Willet here are actually bringing some extra layers to it that I think are helping the whiskey. So kudos to them on that. Like the blend, what was done here with the blending of fairly young whiskey, and I would imagine just a little bit of 13 is impressive for 4 to 6 year stuff in here with the 13. But it's just not $150. If they could get their pricing under control, they could actually be competitive. But I don't know what the sourcing on this, like what these kinds of barrels cost. Just don't know. Just don't know. Gary Franchi, yes, we are all Matt Porter fanboys. Thank you, Gary. Did I miss a super chat up here? Oh, VG says, hi, Cam. Hello, hello. Thank you for jumping in here. Izzo's Place. Have you had Watershed finished an apple brandy? Smelled and tasted like rotten apples. I have, yeah. Some of the batches are better. I've had 2 of the 3 batches. I think only 3 have been released. I liked one of them quite a bit, and one of them was like, eh. Oh, no, I've had all 3 batches. The reason I say that is because batch number 1 tasted like gin. Batch number one was terrible. I think it was tainted whiskey. And I've had a tainted whiskey as well with the same gin issue from Still Austin. Had to be tainted. No, just no way around it. I still have that sample, actually, the Still Austin that tastes like gin. Keith, I like IW Harper 15. It's super low proof. A lot of people are like, it tastes like a moldy basement, whatever. I guess I like that. I think it's a really nice sipper. And in Ohio, the prices of that bottle went up in a lot of states. It stayed in Ohio, I think, at $60 for quite a while longer before it just moved up to $100. So anytime I saw it, it's like, I'm going to pick one of these up. Yeah, Izzo, I think the apple brandy finish for them, it's a really heavy finish. But if you like it, you like it. Was one of the samples in the missing sample pack was the apple brandy. I have one of those bottles, but I don't know which batch I actually have here. I have a few of the Nocinos, too. Look. If I like this Kentucky Owl's like kind of good whiskey for the style that it is. You know, it's that kind of young, brash, like, here's what I would say. I would say if I had the choice between drinking Booker's or drinking this, I would actually pick this. It's the same idea of if I want a whiskey like that, with that kind of a profile, just really in your face, kind of sharp, and I can't believe this is only 100 proof, I would go here because of the balance and the blending, and I would never go Booker's. But if I did go Booker's, it's because I just want my face ripped off. So I think we can put this to rest. But whoever does get the samples tonight, in fact, like whoever wins the K-Luke bottle, I'll throw a sample of this in there. I think you'll find that if you sit with this thing and get past just the initial nosing where you go, there's something here, but not at $150. Okay. 81 still hanging out. That is awesome. We're about an hour into a very late stream. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And just another quick reminder to please hit that like button if you have not already. I'm going to leave this poured out because I think maybe that'll come into a comparison here in a sec. Let's get on with it. Let's get on with what I would consider to be the main event of the kind of tasting portion tonight. I like these streams, and when I do kind of a two-parter where it's like, okay, we're just going to taste a bunch of new stuff or samples or whatever people have sent, and then we're going to go into a blind. I love this format of a stream. It's just fun for me. And, you know, there's always a natural attrition when you start going into the blind. If you go, you know, especially on a late stream, we'll probably lose a lot of folks, and I totally understand. But it's nice to get in and kind of do the academic and then do the fun, you know? JG, one more shot. All right. Yeah, Amy. It's just like that's the extra little needle just poke, you know? It's like someone else's name is on the box. I mean, I'm going to hit them up. It would be very awesome if they happen to be the people that got my box. Assuming that my box was going to have my name on it, because maybe it wasn't. Maybe they were the only one. You know what I mean? I have no idea. But if they didn't receive mine, I'll never know who else to contact about it. So, because it's a cool box. Amy, I thought about using this as the reveal for when we do Whiskey Wear. Instead of just having like a bag that I pull it out of, it's like, why not have this badass box that travels around and you can just like slide it up and do the reveal on camera? That would be cool. Okay, let's do K-Luke, batch 6. God, I love batch 5. It was so good. Everyone else says batch 4 is the GOAT. I don't know about that. I haven't had batch 4. Okay. All right. We're in it now. We're doing this. Dang. Okay, let's talk K-Luke. 119.8 proof. So, let's see if it'll focus here. Not enough light, really. I need to turn up the exposure on the camera. 119.8. Batch 6, it says high and low rye blend up here. It is actually stated on the label. Where's it at? Right over here. Distilled in Kentucky and Indiana. So we do get some states of distillation. I actually never read the back of this. This is gonna, I swear to God I didn't read the back of this. This is gonna further prove my point though. I think this is 36. I would have to go back in time and figure that out. If Derek's in here, Derek would know. Derek in the chat. It says this is a combination of mash bills containing up to 36% rye from Kentucky and Indiana. So 36 is the MGP. All right. So that means there's 36 rye in here from MGP. David L. Had to pop my 6 side by side. All right, let's do this. Casey, the tree is scouted out. There is a tree in a park down the street, and Sarah and I were there a couple nights ago. We're on a walk, and I'm like, can I get up here? You know, there's a low branch, and yeah, we can do it. A little guy like me, I need a step stool. I might bring a step stool over there, something to stand on. That's why I don't hurt myself. All right, batch 6, K. Luke. So to me, it's got the same thing as batch 5, where there's a little bit too much ethanol in the nose. But you can immediately get past that because you can tell the bourbon underneath is incredible. I think I need a sip of this first. How do you describe this, K. Luke? You know, one sign, in my opinion, of a really, well, I don't know if it's a sign of a great blend or just a cool thing that can happen when you blend. I think sometimes when you blend whiskeys, one thing that will happen is that things fight each other. So you can put like 2 amazing 14-year bourbons together and they can cancel each other out and the blend tastes like crap. But there's something else that can happen too, where it's like you put things together and they are so harmonious that it almost, like when you nose it, you're like, I can't even tell what I'm nosing. And I feel like this K. Luke Batch 6 is very well harmonized. No pun intended. So here are a few things. Let me just try to pick stuff out of here. The first, like, the thing that I get, like, the top note of this is buttercream. It's 36% rye MGP between 5 and 8 year old single barrels. I'm talking OKI single barrels. Dancing Goat, 8 year. That's why I pulled this. And I'm pretty damn sure this is 36% MGP rye. Pretty sure. How could I check this, man? See, it would be Dancing Goat suggestions of butter cream was the. You know what? There might be a Reddit review of this. Seal box, 8 year single barrel, 112.6. Was it this one? Yeah, 112.6. Does it give the mash bill? Yeah, it doesn't. I'm pretty sure this is 36. It doesn't really matter. But you get that kind of buttercream almost turning to the funky root beer float vanilla on the nose. There are kind of dark, not plum. What do you want to say? Date. There's like some dark, like date notes to this. There's also brighter, nutty Kentucky type notes, and there is Kentucky in the blend. It's just nice. Cinnamon, and it feels like a Kentucky cinnamon, not an MGP, Indiana cinnamon. I've heard rumors that K. Luke is a blend of Four Roses. Don't know how true that is, but could be. I've heard it's a blend of Four Roses, and at the very least, Four Roses and MGP. I don't know if there's other Kentucky in the mix. I would say what I get on the nose of this, if you guys are familiar with your individual mash bills from some of these places, I smell 36 rye MGP bourbon at about 6 years old, give or take. And it's that bright buttercream almost turning to a funky root beer float vanilla. I smell 21% rye MGP bourbon Could be, could not be. But there's cinnamon in there that reminds me of it. Also Kentucky type cinnamon. But there's a dried fruit note in here. And I get a lot of dried cherry on 21% rye MGP. But there's something else in here that's rounding it all out. And if that's Four Roses bourbon, that would be quite interesting. It's just very good. It's just a really good whiskey, man. And what I like about the finish, it doesn't go grassy. It doesn't turn any weird way. Doesn't really get bitter. There's a teeny bit of sourness from some of the fruit notes. I'm down for it. But what lingers is mostly like big flavor notes, not just spice. Not just bitter or spice or like tang. Actual fruit notes are just lingering on the palate with like a bunch of fruit and some caramel. And I know that's a really generic way of putting it, but there's so much in here that it's very dense, and that's just the overall impression on the finish. It just goes on, and this is the kind of finish I like in whiskey. I just don't like it when it's only pepper or only spice on the finish. It feels like the easy way out, I guess, if I had to put it that way, especially in a blending sense. Like if it's a single barrel, nobody can help what that single barrel is doing if it was bottled that way. But in a blend, you can change some of these things depending on what components you're working with. Wow. Scott, let me ask you this, and let me ask everybody else. Should I do the batch 5 comparison now, or because I only have a quarter of an ounce, maybe a third of an ounce. Do I do this now, or do I wait for the batch 6 video? I'm happy to do it now if you want to do it now. Keith Thompson, do you think he's double barreling it? I don't know. My initial impression is no. There is a lot of flavor in here, but if you've had any of these double-barreled things that are between maybe 5 to 9 years old, there's a certain concentration of flavors that feels actually unnatural to them, and I think that's where they go wrong. Like, not all double-barreling is a good thing. And it's in the same way, like a toasted barrel, you can overdo it. I think you can also overdo double barreling stuff. And more often than not, I think it is overdone because it just provides such a humongous like mouthfeel, and it's just a way to concentrate the flavors essentially. So I think this K. Luke, given like it's really good, but it doesn't feel artificial to me like some of those double barrelings can. So I don't think this has seen even just another new oak container. David says do it now. Joe, I'll send you some more batch 5. Yeah, Joe, that would be awesome. Let's just do it then. Hell yeah. Let's do a few things. This K. Luke stuff is fun. I don't know why. I don't understand why I am so like obsessed with this right now. After tasting batch 5, I'm enamored by this stuff. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Joe, I'll throw it in the mail tomorrow. Damn, dude. Thank you, Joe. David, $5 super chat. Got to get one more entry in. K-Luke batch 6. Get your... Yeah, man. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, David. So we got batch 5 poured out. Let me top off my batch 6. Still have Kentucky Owl hanging out. Okay, now, real quick. Just real quick. My nose right now, for some reason, I'm not stuffed up. But nosing that K-Luke, I had a hard time on that just now. So I just want to throw that out there. I don't know why I had a hard time. I think maybe I need to just like smell something else. Yeah. Maybe it is just a little closed off. And I think maybe some of that closing off is coming from that. What I'm saying is just a little bit of ethanol on the nose. I don't think because I'm smelling everything else just fine tonight. Am I like totally nails in the pocket right now? Nosing and tasting? No, I'm probably at like 85%. And I think that's just because today was like all over the place and I just ran in and did this live stream after eating a bunch of tacos. But I still think it's a little closed off. So that's my one knock on this K-Luke stuff. But it's a small knock in comparison to how good the whiskey actually is. And that's what I said about Batch 5 too, even in the video. It's like, holy shit, I cannot believe how good this stuff is. Bayou Drams in for a $5 super chat. Thank you. Great show as usual. Jonathan really has a great palate and his store picks are amazing. I would love to get down there to his store sometime. I mean, clearly has a great palate. Clearly. You can't blend like this without a great palate, which is only half the battle when it comes to blending, because blending in and of itself is so hard. Jay is taking off. Gotta go. See you later, Jay. Thanks, man. And Scott in for a $50 super chat. Scott, thank you. Guys, thank you for the support tonight. As usual, I sincerely appreciate it. Jason Harris says, just arrived House Takumi. Surprisingly, I don't want to say surprisingly, it surprised me in a good way. Not at the price point. But there are some aspects of it that are, like it's easy to hate on it, I think, given people's love of Dixon Deadman and, seeing a lot of these special releases come out of Kentucky Owl that kind of feel like a money grab. In many ways, it is a money grab at $150. But I am shocked to find a few things in that whiskey that I wasn't expecting. So that's like the fairest way I can put it. Jeb, thank you, man. Little bandage money if you fall out of that tree. We'll get you in for 4, man. Thanks, Jeb. So I sat down on the couch the other night. I said this earlier with this K-Luke Batch 6. And admittedly, I had a little too much, right? And there's a point for me when I have a little too much whiskey that is not good because I get obsessive about like nosing and tasting things. And it's almost like when you drink, like when you find somebody that drinks and then they're like, I'm better at pool or I'm better at darts now. And you're like, yeah, you might have been. When you're like 2 drinks in, you might have a little more, loosey-goosey creative juices flowing. But then you get to a point and it's like, hey, you're not doing good at pool or darts. And so my pool and darts is side-by-sides. And so you just go off the freaking deep end. So instead of doing side-by-sides, I thought, let me nose and taste this K-Luke Batch 6. And to my credit, at least maybe I just am thinking this because I had a little too much that night, my nose and palate were like on, particularly my nose. There is a sweet spot for me when I start tasting where my nose, like my mind is going. I know I'm the darts person. Now I'm just that person. But I was picking out a lot of good flavor notes at the K-Luke. And I thought that I could blend my own because I could clearly taste this MGP note that I was getting that this Dancing Goat pick has in it. And I thought, let's go with the idea that the Kentucky bourbon in here is 4 Roses because everybody's saying that's the case right now. And unfortunately, I don't have the 4 Roses that I would think would probably be used in this. If I had to imagine, I would think he's using an OE, a low rye mash bill. And if I had to go off a flavor profile, if this is Four Roses in here, purely speculative, if it is a Four Roses product, I would say he's probably in like OESV territory. I don't think it's F or Q. I would say it could be K, V, or O. OESV, OESK, OESO. It could be one of those. That's a spectrum, but it's narrowed down from the 10. Unfortunately, I only have an OBSK, and I don't think he would have used that high of rye based on what I knows and taste in the batch 6. But I decided to do a little 50-50 blend of this MGP with some Four Roses just to see how it comes out. Actually, that night, I kept adding a little bit here and there of the different ones. I got pretty damn close to this batch 6. It lacks something, but it does kind of approximate it, 70% of the way. So if you guys have any like 6 to 8 year MGP high rye picks, 36%, and maybe like a low rye Four Roses, try blending those. You might be surprised at the result. It's very good. It's very, very good. Izzo's Place, $10 super chat. Thank you. Alcohol, the cause and solution to man's problems. Bayou Drams, who puts out better blends, K-Luke or Old Carter? I haven't had a lot of Old Carter. I've had some here and there at different bottle shares. I think actually maybe the only ones I've ever had were at the Junkies Ports in the Park the last 2 years. I've had some I really don't like. A lot hate Old Carter American. It's not my cup of tea. I've had some Dickel Forward blends that were not good. I know that's very subjective. I've had a few that were pretty good, but I think Old Carter double barrels everything. So if I had to go from a purely blending perspective, I'm going to go K-Luke. Like, assuming it's not double barreled, I go K-Luke. So let's put my homemade blend to the side. Now let's do a comparison now, batch 5 to batch 6. We do have a blind flight to do at the end of this. So, just a subtle reminder. Trying to make sure we're all good on Venmo. We are all good. See, Joe, I just don't like the Old Carter Americans, man. But I kind of have an aversion to light whiskey that I just can't get over. It's kind of like, rum and light whiskey. I just don't like about 90% of what I've had. A few rums have shocked me, and a few light whiskeys I go, okay. The biggest one for me on the light whiskey side was the Pinot finished Bull Run. 13 year, I want to say. That was an outstanding light whiskey. The best I've ever tasted. Okay. So, as far as K-Luke goes, batch 6, batch 5, if you're looking at what's on which side. So 6. One thing I get on batch 6, I'm actually getting a pretty strong tobacco note that I wasn't picking up before. Yeah. Tobacco, I'm actually getting a little big league chew. So I said dates earlier. To me, this is turning a little more grape plum. It's not quite as dark and dense as like a date note would be. But this tobacco thing is really standing out. I like it. Now back to batch 5. Batch 5 feels darker. Okay. Batch 5 feels like a darker fruit profile, so even deeper and richer purple fruit notes. Yeah, like there's a juicy blackberry thing in batch 5. And I don't think... No. they're starting to really separate from me in my brain, and I'm having like a lot of thoughts, and I just need to not say all the words at the same time so I can parse them out for you guys. Okay. Batch 5 is exposing to me that batch 6 has a lighter profile than I thought. And remember, we're comparing two very similar things. So the degrees to which these are different are smaller than if you're talking like a Heaven Hill next to a Buffalo Trace product. We're not talking extreme differences. So I want to let you know that the percentages, when I say it's lighter, we're talking like 10% or less. We're not talking big swings here. But it's showing me that there's a lot of that bright buttercream note in batch 6. There's a little bit of a brighter caramel profile to batch 6. It feels to me like there could be overall slightly younger whiskey in batch 6 and maybe more Kentucky. You know, I don't know about more Kentucky. I'll retract that because it could come from MGP. Batch 5 feels like this could be... There are notes in here that remind me of OESF or OESK single barrels from Four Roses. 100 million %. Yeah. Yes. So it reminds me of like a 10-year MGP bourbon pick that's really good. Like or even a batch product, Redemption 10-year high rye bourbon with a lot of dark notes. Reminds me of some of those old Smooth Ambler picks. A little bit of the Blonde Brothers. I think I said this in my video even. That super dark fruit. Just extremely dark, funky purple fruits. Juicy blackberry, though, is cool because there's a lot of dry dark fruit and there's also a lot of juicy dark fruit. And they are distinguishable. I'm not just saying this. Batch 6 feels actually toastier. So that's kind of what I was getting at is the reason I said it feels more like there's possibly more Kentucky bourbon in the blend is because it feels like a toastier, more caramelized profile. I like the nose on batch 5 better than batch 6. So palate, we're talking a 0.4 proof difference, so they're super close. The components of these blends feel different to me. So, for what that's worth, let's taste batch 6. That tobacco note, well, I actually kind of get it on the finish. Mostly on the nose, though. In the comparison is when I'm getting that tobacco note. Yeah, batch 6 is buttery, dude. I kept saying that buttercream thing. I can't get away from it. If you've ever had butter pecan ice cream, I'm telling you that's what batch 6 is. Wow. It is a little nuttier than batch 5. I just feel like there's got to be more Kentucky in here. Gotta be. Batch 5 just feels like so much MGP. Weird. Batch 5, actually, this comparison is exposing it. Weird, funky fruits. Like, that time I got, like, you're going to think I am so full of shit. I've never tasted a whiskey that has more clearly given me a note like this that I feel totally confident about. Maybe it's the alcohol speaking. Like an underripe mango. Underripe mango on the palate. I have never tasted that in a whiskey before. And I think the only reason I just picked that up is because I'm doing this side by side. What a funky note. It is so there on the front of it's like the first thing that hits me is this weird underripe mango thing, and then it goes all dark MGP fruits. Crazy. They are actually both pretty darn different. Batch 6 is for more of a Kentucky bourbon lover. Batch 5 is more for an MGP lover. I like them both so much. I do wish I had a bottle of Batch 5 so I could live with it. It makes me so curious to try the rest of the line. I would love to have every one of these batches. Wow. This is my worry. Let me kind of speculate just a little bit. As with any new blending operation, a lot of people will run through their good barrels up front. And you always worry about this. Like old Bardstown Bourbon Company, when they were dealing with 11 to 12 year MGP, Apple Brandy, Chateau de la Baude, the early stuff, the American Brandy finish, the Muscat Mistel finish. Muscat Mistel. I don't know if I said that right. They went through all that old MGP, and then they were left with nothing in that realm afterwards. The fact that Batch 5 of K. Luke, having not tasted 432 or 1, so this is heavy speculation or worry. My worry is that Batch 5 was like the end of the road of high-aged MGP barrels, and then they went to Batch 6, and they're like, let's work in some of this other stuff. So Batch 7 will determine whether that becomes a trend or not. And I guess maybe Batch 5 could have been a one-off, or maybe the ones earlier than this even had more of that dark richness that I would associate with MGP barrels, assuming that's what's causing it in these blends. I hope I explained that correctly, but they're both great. I actually lean Batch 5. It's kind of funkier than I thought. Yeah, it's like that underripe mango thing is almost a little like chlorine to me on the front of the palate. Huh. I don't know. Weird. I still might like Batch 5 a little bit more, but Batch 6 is very good whiskey. I think Batch 6 is actually a more balanced blend. Batch 5 is a more singular profile to it that has some flaws, but you're like, I accept those flaws because it's so damn tasty. Batch 6, less wow factor, more balance. Yeah, Jason, melon. It could be a melon note. It could be a melon note. Wow, Scott says we have batch 1 and 2 on the shelves here. Man. Scott, if I felt confident that I could find 3 and 4, 3, 4, 5, I would like ask you to procure me some of those if you would be willing. I just don't know if I'd be able to, like, for me to invest in 1 and 2, I would just want to be able to go whole hog and get all of them. Scott, Travis, that's right, you can get 3. I didn't think about which batch you were talking about. Jason, it's going to be a hard sell for a lot of people to put these over at Calumet 15 because Calumet is so oaky. These are a much more like balanced whiskey profile. It's not heavy oak. Scott. Zach, it is a little past my bedtime, but we are live. Scott, maybe I take you up, man, if you can get a batch 1 and 2. If you wouldn't mind, that would be really cool, dude. Travis, if we can, maybe I'm gonna try to get the whole damn collection now. It would be cool to be able to do like a full evaluation of the K. Luke line, and actually to get, what is his last name? Is it Masano or Maisano? Jonathan? Is that his name? Jonathan Maisano? It would be great to get him on a stream and be able to taste all of the batches with him. Yeah, Jason. These are not big oaky whiskeys. I mean, batch 5 definitely has some kind of like funkiness to it, but it's not in a traditional Kentucky bourbon, just like in your face oak kind of way. Zach says, short kings need their rest. Bro, I have loved all the Roman Empire stuff on social media. Jonathan Maisano. Is it Maisano or Maisano? Does anybody actually know? I want to say it correctly. David, I agree. Batch 6 is probably more of an approachable bourbon. It's so buttery, dude. I can't get over how buttery that whiskey is. And to me, that means there's probably a lot of 6 to 8 year 36% rye MGP. I just have to stick with my prediction on that. I love the nose on batch 5, though. I'm going to pour. I have literally one sip left of batch 5. And it is going to get poured back. Every drop counts on that one. So somebody tonight is going to walk with a batch 6. You know, I'm not going to just lie to hype up the batch 6. I do like the batch 5 a little bit better for me personally, but I think a lot of people will like the batch 6. And I'm sorry, people cannot retract their super chats and go look for a batch 5. Yeah, Travis, I'll definitely reach out, man. At the end of next month, before I can send it when I'm back in Kentucky. Tennessee shipping is balls. Yeah, man, whatever works out. I'll hit you up. I got to think about it a little bit. Maisano. Bayou Drams, Maisano. Okay. Yeah, I have to, I got to think about this a little bit, just budget-wise. If it's responsible of me for, to get those, source those from you and Scott. How late? God, we're at 90 minutes in. So we will do the giveaway before I go into this blind flight tonight, because it's a little bit of a later night. Last thing I want to do. I am running through my glasses right now. I do have 4 more left. Last thing I want to do is a quick retaste of C923, because I can't figure this damn whiskey out. I have a love-hate relationship with this batch. And that's the hate, you know? Scott says my stores won't order more with the 1 and 2 still on the shelves. So, look, C923 on the nose, to me, is very closed off. Like, it just doesn't give up anything on the nose. I don't love the nose on this. Although the other day I smelled C923 and I was like, that smells kind of dusty. Like, it smells like an A120, like a batch that had just a tinge of that in there. I'm not getting that right now. But that's my love-hate. It's like I keep going back to it, and I'm getting every time is a 180 from the time before. The palate's very good. Some people have said that C923 drinks under proof. I completely disagree. I think this drinks very high proof. I think it's a super hot batch. The palate is the standout part of this whiskey by a mile. I think the nose. I mean, I would just say the nose on this is it almost sucks in my mind, but the palate is totally the other way. And I think I said maybe the first time I tasted this that it was on the verge of being too hot on the palate. Like it peaks at a point where you're almost uncomfortable. So Jaga, maybe Jeb, that's a good call, man. Okay, let's do this. Jeb suggested to put it in this Ben Ewan glass, which is a great idea because this thing kind of dissipates ethanol. It relieves your nose a little bit of the burden of ethanol. Can't believe I just said that. I pulled C920 because this is 132.8 and C923 is 133, so they're basically the same proof. C920, widely regarded as a great bash with some dusty notes to it, but a little brighter and a little more in your face. Yeah, okay. Now, granted, this C920's been open for a long time. It's got a lot of air in the bottle. Let's do this. Instead of pouring from one glass to the other, let's add a little bit into the Ben Ewan, just for a little glass comparison even. It is remarkable what a glass can do. I still think where these Ben Ewan glasses shine, yeah, like, it is fun to drink scotch out of these glasses and lower proof stuff because they're dainty, they're fun to hold, they're like a work of art, you know, and they're expensive. So when you pay a lot for something like this, you want it to be nice and you want to use it for nice things, you know. It's like a splurge glass. But there's something to this glass. And it does relieve some of the ethanol, and it helps you get down into the whiskey a little bit more. So this is C920. Yeah, C920 is a little bit more fragrant. Like, it's jumping out of the glass. It is a little bit more of a dusty note, but it's way better on the nose in my opinion. I do not think C923 has a great nose for me. C923. The other nice part about that Ben Ewan glass is that when you take a sip, the flared lip, it rolls everything, like, the whiskey hits your tongue differently. It hits it more broadly, like more, I guess that's the word I would use. It's like more spaced out. It hits the sides of the tongue immediately. It doesn't come in more focused and direct like off of one of these glasses. So, wow. The palate of C923 is better than C920 for me. Wow. I did not expect that. Like, and I don't mean it's even close. Huh. Huh. What the heck? I did not see that coming. You know what it is? Okay. I think I'm starting to figure out this C9. I know this was not supposed to be a C923 stream, but we're here and we're doing it. C923, sometimes when you say, like, okay, how do I want to say this? I said it's closed off on the nose. I still stand by that. I think what it is closing off on the nose, the things that are not getting out of the whiskey because the ethanol is in the way, are much darker things than I thought. And that's not apparent until you do a comparison to something a little brighter. So in this case, I think C920 is a little bit of a brighter whiskey. Yes, it has a little dustiness to it, but overall the profile, I remember saying this 3 years ago when this came out. I said it feels like there's a lot of rye influence in C920. Like the rye takes the forefront in a lot of cases, and there's kind of almost a green herbal thing to C920. Just a little bit, especially at that time compared to B520, which was just the definition of round, rich, classic Kentucky bourbon. So because this is a little bit of a lighter profile, and I've now got this in a Ben Ewan glass, which makes it a little less closed off on the nose, I'm able to like dig deeper, and this smells like the thickest hot fudge. Just imagine like taking a giant, not ladle, but almost just like a mixing thing. You know, one of those little mixing paddle-y type looking things, just through like warm hot fudge, but just the stickiest hot fudge. And it's like super freaking dark. Oak, hot fudge, and molasses in here. So I just think the ethanol's killing it. And I wonder, it is, damn, I think I might be on the hype train for C923. Whatever. Spilling water everywhere. Whatever. Yeah, someone just noticed Jason, I noticed the eyes. Yeah. Wow. Look, two things can be true about C923. One is that it is too hot and closed off on the nose. And two is that if it wasn't that way, I think this would be one of the best batches of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. But I think it is held back from me on the nose. The palate is great, but it's just like the nose. It's a little too proofy for me. But I'm not going to hate getting another bottle of this stuff. Does it have any resemblance to the dusty notes of 3 to 7 years ago? I don't think so. I think it's just the epitome of what a super dark modern expression of this is. You know, the other night when I smelled it next to some other whiskeys, this is actually about 10 days ago at this point at a bottle share, I thought that it could have a little dustiness to it, but it doesn't stand out like previous batches from 2020 and before. Even the C920 smells significantly more dusty, and this is not a very dusty version of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So, yeah, all right. I don't know what you do with that information, that clear as mud description. Mike says, C923 kicked the crap out of other batches on Jason's stream last night. I wonder which other batches. Tommy D, it is past my bedtime. But thankfully, usually it's a concert week for me. Usually on concert weeks, we have a 10 a.m. Friday morning dress rehearsal. And we do not have one of those tomorrow morning. So I am good. The only thing I have to do, I got to go get some new black dress shoes before my concert tomorrow night. We're playing a piece called, you guys have probably heard some, if you haven't heard the whole piece, you've certainly heard parts of it, called The Planets by Gustav Holst. And it's, you know, you've probably heard Mars. Da-ga-da-dum, dum, 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 da-ga-da-dum, dum, 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 dum. That rhythm. That's what we're playing this weekend. And it's only an hour long, so it's a really short concert, but it's our opening weekend, like kicking off the symphony season. And we have these projections actually on a gigantic screen above us. And it's usually when we have that screen, it's like playing Harry Potter and we're playing the film score with it. But for this one, they're just projecting this thing that NASA put together with the Houston Symphony of all the different planets. So when we play a movement, like there are 7 movements, right, for the planets, because Pluto gets left out, and there's no Earth movement. So the other planets, everyone that's, you know, every movement we play is going to have corresponding, you know, projections to it, which is going to be cool. I haven't seen the projections because we don't get to see like what's actually on the screen when we're on stage. So I hope it's cool. But that's what we're doing. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to do the giveaway, and then I want to get into a blind flight from Amy. And thank God she chose for us tonight, of the two options, a flight that she dubs fairly low proof. Because I'm at that point where I'm like, okay. But I think that's going to make this blind flight fun. Maybe I'm hitting my sweet spot. Jeb is drinking cowboy bourbon from the Ben Ewan right now, all Texas funk without the ethanol. Okay. Noah says C920 had a Mexican mocha flavor that I loved. Okay. I know I can totally see what you're talking about. Yes. William Hall, so sorry I missed a super chat. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Contribute to a good cause, alcohol, and Cam, of course. It's for the alcohol, let's be honest. BT says, fingers crossed. Guys, we're going to end the super chats and everything like that for the giveaway, which you've already been so generous about. You know, thank you. Thank you. We're going to end that at, let's play it safe, 12:05 Eastern time, so in a little under 5 minutes. Izzo. Holst was ahead of his time with the no Pluto. I know. Poor Pluto. I've got one Venmo super chat here from Robert. Let's get you in there. Thank you. It says Rob G. Okay. Got you in for one. Appreciate that. And yeah, so we'll wrap this up in just a couple minutes. And I'm going to get set now for this final blind flight. Okay, I'm going to leave the Elijah Craig barrel proofs on the table. What else did I have? I had this. This is Kentucky Owl. Whoa. What did that smell like? An old like leather sofa. That's a good note for the Kentucky Owl, considering it's young. But it also had like a pineapple upside down cake. It smells like pineapple upside down cake. I'm telling you guys, I'm in that nosing sweet spot right now. But I'm a little rosy, you know. The goods come with the bads. And what was the other thing next to it? Oh, this was the homemade K. Luke blend. Yeah. All right. There's just stuff all over the floor that you can't see. That's why this is, you know. Whenever I get these like last 4 glasses in my 14 glass collection, I have to move the wine glasses out of the way. So you probably heard those smacking together. Travis. Mike says he picked his favorite batch from each of the last 6 years. I could probably guess some of those. I know C918 would have been in there for him. Probably C919 too. Probably C920. I know Jason likes C918. I do know that. But I can't speak for the other ones. For me, if I had to pick those, the 2018 is a hard year for me for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Very hard year to figure out what I like the most. I should do that sometime. A117, C919. I might go A120 these days for 2020. 2021, probably C921. 2022 would have probably been C922, and then 2023 is C923. Oh, actually, could be A123 still. I don't know. Noah. Let's see. Let me find it real quick. Where did I put it? Oh, you know what? You know where I think that is? If it's, there it is. There it is. I thought I left it in one of my bottle share bags. Yeah, let me taste this real quick, man. All right, giveaway is wrapped up, guys. Let's do this real quick. And then the people that want to stick past midnight for a little blind flight action, can do so. Let me double check Venmo. We're good. We are good on PayPal, and we are good elsewhere. Fantastic. So, guys, Noah generously sent a 2-ounce sample, which is awesome because it gives me a few different tastings to go through this. This is an Elijah Craig 12-year small batch, 94 proof, but it's bottled in 2006. So this thing is, at this point, 17 years ago bottled, which means it would have been distilled actually in my birth year, 94. Which is cool. So, let's just check this out very quickly, and then we'll draw for this giveaway. Oh, yeah, like right away. It just smells like dusty, funky, old school whiskey. There's some kind of Noah. There's some kind of like earlier I talked about like a mango note. What did I say? Underripe mango. Kind of was like that green thing. This is like a very overripe type fruit. I'm having a hard time placing it though. Almost like stewed peaches or something. Yeah, almost like stewed peaches. Whatever that means. Kind of red apple in here too. But just like a really funky whiskey. Like the spices on here. Chocolate, clove, cinnamon. I actually like super aromatic. Clove, nutmeg type things. God, if whiskey could taste this way, if standard off-the-shelf $30 whiskey would taste this way, we would have nothing to complain about. Travis, there we go, man. That is pretty much what okay, so he didn't have a 2017 in there, because I was going to say I don't know where he stands on some of those releases, or if he's very familiar with them. I would have guessed the 2, 18, 19. I wouldn't have known if he wanted B520 or C920. The C batches are pretty much where it's at. Yeah. It seems like, huh? No, this stuff is ridiculously good, dude. I've got to figure out what this note is in here. Some of these things I just don't have words for. It like reminds me of something in my head, but I can't place it. I have to sit with this and think more. That's a great whiskey. Just can't stop dropping things. It smells so good. Deep raw honey. That's a good note. That's a good. It's almost got a texture to it, and that's kind of like when you're saying raw. I almost get that like a texture thing. All right. Giveaway time. Here we go. We're going to have 2 winners. We're going to spin it 7 times. We have 85 entries. That is awesome. 85 entries for tonight's Super Chat G-Word. I will share my screen in just a second. Let me pull up random.org. I have a million tabs open, so sorry if you see that. It's kind of hilarious. Share screen. Okay. There we go. So we should be shared. And I'll take this angle away. And I guess we should do this very quickly. We should just confirm with you guys, like I normally do. When I say we, I guess I mean Amy and I, because Amy helped track this. But I think we're all set here. Let's go to 110 and see if that's going to be good. Yeah. So I know it's small on the screen. Your name, as we go through each time we do this, if you're a member, thank you. If you're new to this, on the left is your name, and if you entered a $5 super chat, on the right it's going to say 1. So your number amount, your dollar amount divided by 5 is your number of entries, and this is every time you gave an individual super chat. So if you gave 2 separate $10, you would have a 2 and a 2, and your name would appear twice, and it populates into this list over here to the right that I copied from. So please confirm. Take a second. Confirm on the left side. If there's any issues, you're like, hey, I gave $20 and you only have me down for 3 entries instead of 4, let me know. But I think I've been tracking this along with Amy, as she's been taking care of it as well, and I think we're good. So let me know. And while we do that, I'm going to go ahead and pull these 4 samples. And I'll let you guys know in just a second what this blind flight is going to be from Amy. It's got a theme. And I love the theme. I love the fact that it has a theme. All good, says Travis. Thank you, Travis. Izzo's Place. Am I missing a few? No, I thought I saw you in here. No, you're in there. You're in there. Yeah, I remember seeing. I think Amy got you because I think it was a super chat and not a Venmo. Yeah, I've had some people hit me up in emails afterwards and say, "Hey, I wasn't on that list," and they like check the next day or something, and then I'll send them a screenshot of them actually on the list, you know. So to some degree we try, and it's like, you know, if I missed your name on the list, I do my best to figure out a good solution, but there's not always a great solution depending on, you know, if some of the prizes are like a once in a lifetime prize, it's like, you know, there's very little I can do except put you on the next giveaway. Okay, we're going to spin it. Let's do it. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go here. And I have that list copied. Boom, from Robert up to JG. We're going to do 7 spins. Top person after 7 gets the K. Luke, and the sample of the Kentucky Owl, and the Seal Box Bourbon Pursuit pick. And then second place, sample pack with those things sampled, plus some other samples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Here we go. 7. Boom. Okay. William Molnar, who put in 10 entries for Amy. So Amy is coming away with a win here, and Scott is coming away with a win. So congrats. And those are 2 people that put in $50 super chats. So thank you guys. The odds were in your favor tonight. So thank you, everybody, for super chatting. Congrats to those winners. I have contact info for both of you guys, so I'll just make a note here and I'll email you. And let's see, what's tonight? The 21st. Well, it's 22nd now. Giveaway 9/21. William Molnar for Amy. And for William, we just got to figure out this sample pack thing and what happened. So I'll look into this. I'll ask Sarah. I don't know my neighbors very well, but sometimes I get things delivered to one of our neighbors, but he's brought it over before, so if it didn't make it there, that would be kind of strange. William Molnar for Amy is K. Luke, and Scott is samples with K. Luke, etc. Okay. Cool. Congrats, guys. It's blind flight time. So I know we got 67 left. If you guys want to hang around and do a quick blind flight, I'm gonna have to make this quick. But I think it's gonna be fun because Amy's very good at this. So she has created 2 blind flights. The first one, which is the one we're gonna do tonight, is called Calibration. The second one, which we'll do a different night, is called Get Off My Lawn. Tonight's flight, and yeah, William, dude, thank you for throwing your giveaway entries to Amy. That is very, very cool. And yeah, I'll get to the chat in just a second. Amy, this might be the hardest blind because I'm a little tipsy. Amy's little blurb on Calibration says this. In my work, and by the way, we do have Amy's awesome and sends these note cards. And no, I'm not cheating. There's an X on this side. And I learned this from Amy. So when I actually just sent a flight to Marty from Whiskey Nose, and I did this the same way. But I don't think he shows them ahead of time because I think he can see it on the screen. So I think he's just going to use those as answer keys. But I can show you guys along the way what we've got in here. Amy says about this flight, Calibration. In my work, we must analyze a sequence of known standards to demonstrate that the instruments are working properly. So I see where this is going. Think of this flight as an initial calibration, much like you would tune up an instrument prior to playing. These are all fairly low proof, so you won't get too schlammered. What if you start schlammered? Taste and tell us what you think. Can you identify the distilleries or bottles? So this seemingly is an easy flight that I am probably about to have problems with. Gary Franchi says this would have been the perfect night for a third prize. Okay, Gary. Gary, shoot me an email. I have the sample bottles. For once in my life, I'm not about to run out of freaking sample bottles, dude. I should have honestly offered up a third prize. It's just going to be another sample pack, Gary, of the same stuff. But email me, drumsanddrams@gmail.com. I like the fact that this book is getting to the point where I have to turn a few pages to get to a fresh one. You know? No, Gary, if you want... No, man. If any of these are of interest to you, plus, I know you have great whiskey. I remember you pulling out that Michter's 10, and I was just like, oh, shit. But I'm a little too tipsy that night to really appreciate it. I didn't want to take it from you or anybody else. But if you want to try the K. Luke, man, and, the Kentucky Owl... some of this Seal Box single barrel, and then if you haven't tried Boston, that's what I'm going to put in the other pack. So just let me know. Happy to do it, Gary. Okay, Calibration from Amy, ABCD. The question, she says, can you identify the distilleries or bottles? So we're going to go with that. I will try to guess proof at the very least as well. I will posit a guess for age. But okay, let's do it. When will it end? Jeb, dear diary, the live stream went well. I didn't get made fun of too much. Although, you know what, Jeb? I got made fun of a lot today. And let me tell you why. Story time. I'm just kidding. But I've been thinking about this, like, we're going to get to this flight, I promise you. When it comes to playing in the symphony, it's a really hard thing, and I don't know if anybody out there is like feels the same way, but as a musician, I can only speak as a musician. I'm not an artist in any other way. But you get so why does that keep popping up? You get so heavily invested in your work that it kind of feels like everything that you do at work feels personal. Like I can't just walk out the door of the theater and forget about music, or forget about the symphony stuff, and the schedule's unusual, and it's all those things that makes you feel very personally tied to your work. So one thing I've been trying to do, because I never thought I would ever be in a symphony orchestra, it was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a soloist and keep touring before COVID. I decided I need to take steps to make this feel like a job and not like my personal life, because it's a dangerous thing for me to be so heavily invested from a personal point of view into what happens with the orchestra, because when you're dealing with an orchestra, you're dealing with, there is a structure there that I'm not used to. Like, I wouldn't call it a corporate structure necessarily, but you have a CEO and a COO and a CFO. So there's some level of corporate structure, although it's very minimized because there's just a very little bit of management and administration, and then there's the musicians who are unionized. But I'm still not used to those things and working within a bureaucratic kind of system, let's say. And from my point of view, I deal with musical things, but I also deal with a lot of logistics because I'm a percussionist. So I deal with gear and maintenance. And so I kind of have a little bit of everything that I'm doing. And a lot of other musicians in other sections of the orchestra only have to deal with playing for the most part. So for me, it's like it's really easy to fall victim to feeling too invested in the work, never letting it go, bringing the anxiety home, and then it just messes with me. So long story short, Jeb, I was made fun of a lot today because what I've decided to do is start dressing up for work. And that sounds very silly, but we're allowed to wear whatever, jeans, t-shirt, casual to orchestra rehearsals. But I thought, let me separate this in my brain. Like when I used to work at Target 10 years ago, let me make dressing up for work be a thing. And then today was actually a dress rehearsal. So I'm making sure to wear a jacket. Like I wore a full suit today to work because when I'm in a concert, I'm in a full tux and my sleeves get in the way of my sticks. And it's a whole thing. I have to do this before I start playing. And then, my sleeves are kind of rolled up. It's a super dumb, small thing. But I was made fun of a lot. It's like, what are you wearing? Why are you wearing a suit, dude? And it's like, look, I'm just trying to recreate the concert environment and also try to make this a job and not my entire life. So anyways, long story. Okay. Glass A. Let's pull out a few of these cards. Oh, nice. Amy, the formatting is excellent. You had just the two sections together with one overarching staple. Or paperclip. Staple. Good Lord. All right, let me show you guys what is in here. So here we go. This is the other stack with the X, so I'm not cheating for the future stream. Here we go. Here's glass. I'm just trying to get the focus right. So we got E. There we go. We'll just put it here. All right, I'm going to turn my head. Here's what we've got in glass A. Take a look at that. 3, 2. I know I should have soloed it on the screen. 3, 2, 1. Let me know if you need to see that again. I'll turn back now. So let's get into Glass A. It smells like 1792 small batch. But I don't know. All right. Yeah, thank you, Amy. No spoilers in chat, guys. No spoilers in chat. So yeah, this one to me is like kind of Teddy Grahams. Teddy Grahams, a little banana, honey. Yeah, you know, Teddy Grahams, honey kind of goes together. Oh, what is that? This might be pear. This might be pear. It's brighter. All of it. This is all brighter. And a little dusting of some sort of spice. It's super familiar. Glass A is super familiar. Oh, Jeb. All right. What is this paper in front of me? D. Oh, it's another. Oh, Amy put 2 X's in here. Cool. Gotcha. All right. I'm gonna rapid fire these. I'm gonna rapid fire these. I'm gonna show you B. I'm not gonna make guesses on A yet, but I wanna show you all of these quickly. Okay. Turn this. Boom. Okay. And here we go. Focus. Turn the head. Here's glass B. There you go. That's glass B. 3, 2, 1. Okay. And we go here. Cool. Let's go to glass B. Glass B's funky. It's got to be a rye. Something almost like it's very sour. There's lemon. There was something kind of it smelled like spoiled fruit, like something had turned. Oh, God. What kind of Okay, green peppercorn. Yeah. Oh, this is jalapeno pepper. What is this? Dude, that is jalapeno pepper all the way. Wow. Why am I tasting that so clearly? I don't know what is happening. I'm getting some weird notes. Yeah, Rare Brad says, nothing wrong with practicing how you're going to play. Yeah, I've thought for a long time, like, you know, it's something so small, but when you're holding a drumstick, there's like quite a bit that sticks out of the back of your hand, you know? And when you have a cuff and then you have a cuff probably higher up and then your jacket sleeve just a little below it, I mean, you can get caught in your sleeve. I've always felt like I'd like to practice in that environment as much as I can. All right. Yeah, so right now, Glass A, I talked about like Teddy Grahams and honey and a light dusting of spice and maybe a little cocoa powder. It's very light and airy almost. Glass B, I cannot stop tasting jalapeno pepper. And smoke. It's like smoky adobo, like, and I am fixating on the spice notes in here. Like, I should be clear that it does taste like a bourbon. That yes, you do. This is another light honey type whiskey, but this spice thing is differentiating it. All right, on to glass C. I just want to go through them quickly and get a quick impression, and then I'll dive in a bit deeper in this blind. So let's go solo layout. Get glass C ready. Okay, here we go. Turn my head. Here is glass C. I think it's good. Okay, that should be good. 3, 2, 1. Okay. There you go. Move this over. Glass C. All these fairly light color. Amy said they're all pretty low proof. B is super light. A is super light. C is a bit darker than both of those. Okay. Wow, A is extreme graham cracker. That Teddy Grahams thing, I am so hyped on that note. C is what I thought A smelled like at first. C is a little bit more of this banana thing. Amy, this is... So what I'm imagining is like what we probably have in here is like I have a pen on my hand. 4 Roses small batch. Like these are the kinds of whiskeys, not the exact ones. We probably have like a 4 Roses small batch, a 1792 small batch, some sort of rye, like a Rittenhouse. You know, maybe Buffalo Trace. Like, excuse me. That's where I think this flight is going. Amy, it's getting... Why am I getting more banana as I go? I have the hiccups. That's bad. Bad news. I think Glass D is a Jack Daniels. I haven't shown you this yet, but it's got that Jack Daniels funky banana thing. All right, so here we go. Glass D coming up. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. Should be good. All right, here is Glass D. Nope. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think we should be good. Three, two, one. Okay. So you've seen all of them now. And now it's time to get down to business. So Glass D is either Old Forester or Jack Daniels, and I can definitely identify that it's a Brown-Forman product with certainty. What was Amy's? So Amy said, "Can you guess distillery or bottle?" And then she asked about. Oh no, I wrote that. I wrote proof question mark. Okay. All right, I am confused because B and C smell almost identical, if not identical. Well, they're not because the color is different. Yeah, they're not identical, but they smell super damn close. B and C in particular. And the question here mainly for me is distillery. Now, when I think jalapeno on glass B, that leads me down the road of either being a rye whiskey or a high rye bourbon. The more I smell B, the less inclined I am to believe that this is a rye. I think this is a bourbon. And when I think of a bourbon with a high rye content, you know, it could be a Four Roses, it could be an MGP, it could be Wild Turkey has a lot of spice notes. Amy, this is I'll tell you what, anytime I get like a 4 to 6 year, you know, almost bottom shelf bourbon from a legacy distillery that has been proofed down to all heck, has God knows what in the blend when it comes to ages or mash bills from a given distillery, I have a hard time. And this is going to prove that tonight. So calibration is absolutely right. You know what? I'm going to go glass D. God, is it Jack Daniels or is it Old Forester? The brightness in here makes me go Old Forester. The bright cherry. But the banana brown sugar note, specifically the brown sugar part. Amy had the cat on keyboard. The brown sugar note. You know what? My first impression was Jack Daniels. I'm going to stick with Jack Daniels. And the brown sugar is going to make me go there. And it's like drinking water. My best God. It's kind of oaky. Which means it's Jack Daniels. Because it's got that charcoal filtering. I'm going to say this is Gentleman Jack. That's the best guess I got on glass D. Let's work our way up, maybe backwards, I guess. If B and C are not from the same distillery, that would be crazy to me. They've got to be from the same place. B, look, I've said jalapeno on B. Now I'm going to say smoked meat. And it's in the context of a young honey Kentucky bourbon. But I don't know why I'm getting these weird savory notes on B. But I'm not getting those on C. So then it's like, is it from the same distillery? A again. Graham cracker. It's just very sweet. Graham cracker, cinnamon, brown sugar, you know, like cinnamon toast, crunch. I said that earlier a bunch on these whiskeys. It's that sweet treat graham cracker kind of thing. So who has a whiskey that tastes like that? I'm trying to go through my distilleries, like Four Roses, Bullet, a Brown Foreman. It's not a Brown Foreman. Is it Heaven Hill or Jim Beam? I don't think it's Beam. You could convince me it's Heaven Hill, but at this age, it should have nuttiness if it's going to be a Heaven Hill product. Could be a 1792 with not a lot of banana, strangely. What else? Four Roses. Wild Turkey. What has this much graham cracker? I think this is going to really piss me off to find out Glass A. Amy, this is a hard fight. Jeb. I'm just getting a lot of green pepper, man, on Glass B. Pyrazine. That's my wine knowledge coming in here. My extensive knowledge of wines. And my green pepper notes. Amy, this is tough. Like, if I say what I was going to say, because it's so basic, that sounds so dickish, because if this is basic, I can't get any of it right. So that's a very big problem. I feel like there's a Four Roses in here. God, B and C. It's not a Cab Franc, I assure you. Yeah. These are so close. I just don't even know what to do. I don't think I'm going to get any close. I'm just going to taste them one more time. That's so corny. It just tastes like corn. On to B. You know what? B feels a little older. I've been talking savory notes. Maybe it's a little older, or masquerading as older. Huh. You know what? I'm going to go out on a weird limb on B. And it's a bottle I've never had. But I just started asking myself, what could have these kind of notes? Wild Turkey Long Branch. Because if something is mesquite finished, the only mesquite product I've ever had is Old Forester King Ranch. And the Old Forester profile kind of blasts out the mesquite finish. If I had to guess what's going to carry these weird savory spice notes, I'm going to go Wild Turkey Long Branch. And if that's related at all to Glass C, maybe that makes Glass C another Wild Turkey product. This is a super long shot. And I don't think it's right. If that's a turkey product, Glass C, I don't know what it would be. I'm gonna lock that in on Glass B. It's a weird guess, but now earlier I said Glass A. When I first smelled it, I'm like, that smells like 1792 small batch. Let me stick with that. I don't believe that's right, but let's just roll with it. Glass C. This could be Four Roses small batch. It could be a turkey. What do they make, an 80? Did they make an 80 proof turkey? I don't know if I want to say turkey or Four Roses on Glass C. I go turkey. I don't know if Amy, that's two turkey guesses, but I might hedge my bets. I'll go 4 roses. Let's do the reveal. Glass A, I said 1792 small batch. If I had to guess a proof, $93. $80. Damn. I hedged on that, but 1792 I think is 93.7. So I hedged. Jim Beam, Glass A. So this is not going to go well. I mean, I can kind of tell, but not really. And the last time I had that, I couldn't tell you. Glass B, I said Turkey Long Branch. Hey, look, I will take that. I will take that it is a turkey product in Glass B. I can't believe I got jalapeno pepper and all these weird-ass notes. It's got to be because it was next to that A, that Jim Beam. You guys, seriously? Taste this stuff. This is really weird. Amy, tell me if I'm crazy on that. Glass C, I went 4 roses small batch. Evan Williams. 86 proof. I can see it, but I gotta learn these bottles. This has got to be like a Jack Daniels. Old number. I said Gentleman Jack. It's old number 7. I will take that. God, that is a hard ass flight. That is I mean, when you say low proof, you're not kidding, Amy. Like the highest proof, 86. That is crazy. Jeb, stop. Oh, well, I think that's the stream. That'll put you in your place. It'll also put you in the position of, I think I dirtied 15 glasses tonight, so that's great. That's great. Low proof challenge. It is so hard to get notes at this proof. That really is the problem. So knowing this is 4 roses now. Or not 4 roses. This is Evan Williams. I could have never guessed that. And then Turkey 81. Or did I mix those up? No, I didn't. That is the Turkey 81. And this is the Jim Beam. No way, Amy. No way. Not in a million years would I have gotten those. Amy says, sorry, Cam. Next blind is more exciting. Man, well, this was exciting. For somebody. I don't know who, but for somebody. Not me. This was treacherous. All right. I'm going to jump off here. We've been on for 2.5 hours, which is, at this point becoming average. But thank you for being here. If you made it this far, especially on the replay, that's amazing. And I guess I will see you guys next on a live stream next Thursday, because I can't do a bonus stream between now and then. I have, I'm doing an opera next week. Carmen, great opera. But I have a lot of late night rehearsals because we do nighttime stuff because singers are available in the night. Chorus members, stuff like that when we do operas, because a lot of chorus members and things are working during the day. They can come do it at night. So I will see you next. Well, I have an event next Thursday night at an airplane hangar. So maybe stay tuned. Next Thursday, if I do a stream, it'll be another late stream. We had pretty good success tonight. So the Thursday after that, I'm in Buffalo. I'll be streaming from a hotel room. So let's just count on the next 2 happening. even if next week is late from after the airplane hangar performance. I'll come home and maybe do a late stream if I can swing it. So stay tuned on that. And then between now and next Thursday, for sure, some new content coming. Whiskey Ware, at least one new review, and that's going to do it. I am now calibrated, says Keith. Jeb says you have 50 at almost 1 a.m. Good stuff. I can't believe it. I'm going to end with a final sip of Ben Ewan poured ECBP C923. Say that 5 times fast while inebriated. And I will not try that. All right. Cheers, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the super chat support. Getting on the giveaway. Just, you guys are awesome. I'll see you soon. Cheers.